Straight.
Hey everybody, Tommy John here. I've got one of the best pitchers in New York Yankee history. Not only was he a good pitcher, he was a good looking dude. The Gator, Ron Guidry. Gator, good to see you.
Same here, TJ.
If you take a look at the career of Ron Guidry, it's almost comical that he is not enshrined in Cooperstown. In his 14 seasons, all with the Bombers, Louisiana Lightning won 170 games and lost just 91. He won back-to-back ERA titles in 1978 and 1979 and won 20 games 3 times, something Nolan Ryan only did twice. He was also an expert at fielding his position, winning 5 Gold Gloves in his 14 seasons. In 1978, Guidry had the greatest pitching season in the history of baseball. He went 25-3 with a ridiculous 1.74 ERA in the AL East to earn him the AL Cy Young and a second-place finish in the MVP voting. That same season, he set the Yanks' single-game strikeout record with 18, a record that still stands to this day. If you have ever been to a big league game and were curious as to why fans stand up and cheer with 2 strikes, it was Gator's 1978 performance that started the tradition. Guidry followed up his historic 78 season with another gem in 79, going 18-8 with a 2.78. He demonstrated greatness deep into his career as well, going 22-6 with a 3.27 in 1985. And just to top it off, the Southpaw has the 28th best winning percentage in the history of baseball at .651. And out of the players ahead of him, 12 are or will be in the Hall of Fame. The rest pitched prior to the live ball era. A 2-time champ, 4-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove winner, 2-time ERA champion, and 1978 Cy Young and MLB Player of the Year, Ron Guidry is one of the biggest Hall of Fame snubs in baseball history.
3 games you lost in 1978. Each one of them was to a left-handed pitcher whose name was Mike.
Yeah.
Mike Caldwell, Mike Flanagan, and Mike Willis. Do you happen to hate all Mikes now?
No, TJ. I can't hate him. I got a son-in-law named Mike. So I can't go that far. I can't go that far.
But I tell you what, your record is what, 25-3?
That year, yeah.
God, how'd you lose 3 games?
You know, TJ, when you lose games, when you get your butt beat, like we always used to say, just a good old country ass kicking. Okay, right. You don't mind those. But out of those 3 losses, I lost one of the games to Baltimore 2-1. That's when DeSensis hit that long home run off it. And that's one of the games that still haunt me in the evening. You shouldn't have lost that one. Okay, yeah. But I did. I guess because Flanagan was pitching and his name was Mike, that was deja vu. So I just accepted. But years like that, they don't come very often. And of course, that's the best year that I ever had. But things just went my way. If I pitched a great game, didn't give up any runs, we might have scored 1 or 2 runs. That was enough. If I gave up 4 or 5 runs, we scored 6 or 7, and you still win. And you know how that is. You pitch good games, you got to win. You pitch bad games, sometimes you win those too.
That's when you're having a good year.
Yes, that's when things are going your way. If you need a good call on the bases or a strike 3 or something that might be kind of questionable, you get it.
Right. And I wonder sometimes if umpires know what kind of a year you're having, and you throw something that is like the slider off the outside corner of the plate.
Right.
And that guy, he's having a hell of a year. Yeah, strike.
Yeah.
And I know that's I'm not saying that they cheat, but they don't.
No, I know what you're saying.
They widen the plane played out for certain guys.
Well, I agree with you, but you were a great pitcher too, TJ. If you keep the ball in and around the strike zone all the time and they get to know you, they know what you're going to do in that game. And you know that they don't want to be out there for 3 or 4 hours either. Okay, so if you show them that you have good control, yeah, your plate might widen a little bit, but I mean, you got a bat that's 35 inches long. You can hit those balls that are an inch outside of the plate. You know how it is. So, yeah, but they get involved in the game. And if you're having a year like I had, sure, I might have got some pitches. But then again, there are some times where you threw a really nasty pitch that you thought was a strike that they might have missed. So you come back with the same thing. And if they missed it the first time, they give it to you the second time.
They'll give it to you the second time. Yes.
Yeah, but you got to put it in the same spot. Now, we're not perfect. Sometimes we can't do that.
In 78, you was a Yankee 5-4 win over Boston in a 1-game playoff at Fenway Park. It was the game known for Bucky effing dent.
Yeah, he got his moniker. Yeah.
Fouled off his foot. It's 1-1. Bucky's given up wearing that protection on his left ankle. Fouls a lot of balls down there. He had been wearing a shin guard just where he's touching. Gene Monahan, the Yankee trainer, now out talking to Dent. Just off the left end step. Right there. And we'll get the ethyl chloride out and spray it. Dig Hauser, the Yankee third base coach, in there looking. That's only temporary relief. Sometimes I wonder if it's relief at all. The bat boy brings Bucky a new bat and he'll exchange bats. The count's 1-1. 2 outs and 2 on. The Red Sox lead at 2-0 in the 7th inning here at Fenway. Deep to left. Yastrzemski will not get it. It's a home run. A 3-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2. Bucky Dent has just hit his 5th home run of the year into the screen. And look at that Yankee bench, led by Bob Lemon. Big Cliff Johnson out there. And a happy Bucky Dent. Yankees now lead 3-2. Well, the last guy on the ball club you'd expect to hit a home run just hit one into the screen. Bucky Dent.
Bucky lives right down by us, and we had a birthday party for me, and he came over with his wife, and Bucky's the same as he was when we played. He was the same, cool, calm.
Sure.
He hit that 3-run homer to give the Yankees a 3-2 lead. What memories do you can you share from that game?
Well, sitting in the dugout, I'm sure you did, TJ, pitch on 4 days rest. One less day really on a 5-day rotation like we were going. But, at that time, you go out and you convince yourself, okay, look, I might not have my best stuff today because I'm on one less day. And when you feel great, you can do what you want to do. But if there's any doubt in your mind that you're not 100%, you got to convince yourself to at least keep the game close to where your team can score. Because even if you pitch 9 innings, if your team doesn't score and the other pitcher is doing his job, you can't win anyway.
That's
so
right.
If you give up 1 run, you have to have a run to win anyway. So my thought process was, okay, 1 run, maybe 2 runs, but don't give up any more than that. So the game's progressing, and I gave up 2 runs early. I got into the 7th. I came back in for the top of the 7th to sit down, and I'm sitting in the dugout, and then all of a sudden, here you watch Torres throwing to Bucky, and you see the pitch, you see a foul ball off his foot, you see him hobbling, then you watch Rivers go and they talk and they change the bat, and then all of a sudden, you go like, will Torres do the same thing? I would probably have thrown the same pitch. The guy just fouled it off his foot. And he threw the same pitch, but it wasn't exactly in the same spot. And all of a sudden, you see this little lazy fly ball go to left field, and everybody takes off. And I just kind of watched everybody else. And all of a sudden, they start jumping up and down, screaming and hollering. Now you see Bucky going around. And that's what just kind of turned the game around. And even after he hit the home run, Rivers gets on base, he steals, and Roy White or whoever was next drove him in, and we scored, 4 runs that inning. But that's how we had been playing throughout the year. We never knew who was going to get a big hit and be the hero, because our heroes were somebody new every day.
Well, that's when you have a good team. You have a good team when there's a new hero every day.
Every day, yes.
Yep.
It wasn't the same guy that got his name in the paper all the time. It was somebody else. And it was just ironic that, like Bucky hadn't hit a home run maybe like in 3 months. He only had 5 or 6 all year. But all of a sudden you get the biggest one of your career. So that was great for Bucky. And we always teased Zimmer when he came with us in the organization. When Zimmer became Joe Torre's bench coach, we'd always rag him.
We want to take a look now at the incredible life of Don Zimmer. Passed away today at the age of 3, but 66 years in professional baseball. Don Zimmer was a throwback, an old-school baseball man who saw and did it all over more than 6.5 decades in the game he loved so much. Zimmer made his big league debut in 1954, beginning a 12-year playing career in the majors. He was part of 3 championship Dodgers teams during that time, winning titles in 1955, 1959, and 1963. Zimmer also made the 1961 National League All-Star team as a member of the Cubs, one of 4 teams other than the Dodgers that he played for, along with the Mets in their inaugural 1962 season, his beloved Reds, and the Washington Senators. He was given the job of managing the Padres in 1972, the first of 4 official manager jobs that he would have in the majors. But Zimmer's legacy to Yankees fans will be the one he established as the club's bench coach during its dynasty at the turn of the century. Zimmer spent 8 years as Joe Torre's top lieutenant, using his experience and advice to help Torre guide the Yankees through one of the most successful runs in franchise history. Zimmer also stepped in for Torre early in the club's title season of 1999, managing the team at the beginning of the year while Torre recovered from prostate cancer. Following his departure from the Yankees, Zimmer landed with the final major league organization he would be a part of, Tampa Bay. He served as its senior baseball advisor from 2004 on, and just as he had done while with the Yankees, Zimmer provided guidance and knowledge, aiding Tampa Bay as it moved out of its fledgling years as a major league organization. His wit and wisdom touched countless people within the industry through so many years, and he leaves behind a legacy that will never be forgotten.
Zim was a good guy. We go back a long way, and he was a good guy. I don't know what kind of a manager he was or whatever, but he's a good guy. Anyway.
Well, I never got to play him as a manager, TJ. I know I saw him around on the bench as the bench coach for Torre, and he was very intelligent. Joe really looked up to him a lot.
Well, yeah, he was, he was older. What was he, about 90?
I don't know, but he had about 60 years in the big league. So that, he's got to know something.
Just through watching.
Yeah.
Not do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just through. Yeah. But he was a good baseball mind.
But anyway, 78, you won the Cy Young Award. And it's got down here, where do you keep that award? If it were me, it would be in the John.
Well, TJ, if you look, it's right behind me. It's right in the front.
Right there, okay.
I'm sitting right in the front of it, and the pitching rubber from the old Yankee Stadium is right above it.
Oh, really?
That was the souvenir that I got when they turned it down. Well, you remember some of the guys on the grounds crew. You remember Chris? He's the one that used to fix the mound for us when we would get ready to pitch. So Chris had retired, but his son took over head groundskeeper. So one year for one of the old timers games, I asked his son the souvenir that I would like the pitching rubber from the stadium. And he said, you know what? We have to change it in a month or so. And he said, when I take it out, he said, I'm going to save it, put your name on it, and I'm going to send it to you. And he did. He kept his promise. And that's it up above the Cy Young Award.
Yeah, God bless him. Do you have any Yogi Berra memories or stories?
The 2015 All-Star Game features the 4 greatest living baseball players: Hank Aaron, Johnny Bench, Sandy Koufax, and Willie Mays, who are all absolutely amazing players in their own right. But I'm in the room sitting next to my grandfather, Yogi Berra, and I'm thinking, wait a second. He's got more MVPs than any of these guys. He's won more World Series rings than all 4 of them combined. And I look at him and I said, are you dead? And he said, not yet.
One of the greatest World Series resumes of any player ever.
Hey, he got it done. He was a winner because he had all the rings to prove it.
He's the figure that was larger than life.
There's no Jackie without the acceptance of Yogi Berra.
When Yogi comes to the team, they say he doesn't look like a Yankee.
He wasn't 6'3" with blonde hair. Everything about him was kind of funny.
He was a character. He was made fun of in the New York press.
But that sort of became who Yogi Berra was, this funny little guy.
That's right. Yogi Berra.
I don't think Yogi liked it too much.
The Yogi-isms. Let's talk about the Yogi-isms.
He said nobody goes to that restaurant anymore. It's too crowded.
When you get to a fork in the road, take it. What?
And it ain't over till it's over.
It makes a lot of sense.
That personality of his actually served to take away from his legacy as a baseball player.
It always felt wrong. It's not fair to him.
He's just a gentle, kind soul.
He was loved by so many people in this country.
Total respect for Yogi, a guy that everybody loved, not because he was cute and funny, it's because he was good and he was real.
He was the most overlooked superstar in the history of baseball.
The one I tell all of the time, TJ, is the commercial that he made with the Aflac duck. You know, when he's getting a haircut, you know, and he says it's I don't remember how he put it at the end about just like cash, you know, and I remember the day that we were in spring training and he told me he had to fly to California to make a commercial. And it was about 7 o'clock in the morning. I had picked him up at his hotel. We were going to the ballpark because we'd always go early. I always picked him up at 7 in the morning. So when he got in my truck, he was cussing about going to California to make this commercial. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you got to go do over there? And he said, I have to make this affliction commercial. Now, I'm trying to think about, you know, what is he talking about an affliction commercial? And I'm driving my truck away and I'm thinking, is he talking about some sort of like United Way or Cancer Society, something? And he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, you know, with that damn duck. And I went, you mean the Aflac? And he goes, that's it. So I just popped out laughing. So my truck almost drove into the bushes on the side of the highway. I was laughing so hard. And then to top that off, I brought him to the airport on Saturday or Friday evening when he flew to California. He said he was coming back on Sunday afternoon. I picked him up Sunday afternoon at the airport again. And I met him at the door coming out. And he gets in my truck. I opened the door for him. I helped him in the truck. I walked around the truck and I sat in the driver's seat. And he leans over and he puts his arm around me, TJ, but very, very low in his voice, like he didn't want anybody to hear. He looks at me and he goes, Gator, he says, you know, those ducks really don't talk. and TJ, I had to sit there and just laugh my ass off. And he was dead serious when he said it.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac.
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Oh, I know I love playing in his golf tournament and raising money for the Yogi Berra Foundation. And
yeah, it was always nice. I mean,
yeah, every time we would go through, I would always see Bonnie there taking our money and
oh yeah. Well, what woman doesn't like taking a man's money?
Hey, 1977, you won the fourth game, 4-2. Any thoughts about that game?
Now the defense for the Los Angeles Dodgers as they wear the home white uniforms. Dusty Baker will be in left field. He'll fight a sun problem out there today, particularly Baker in left. Over in center field, first time we've seen him there this season, Reggie Smith. He's been there before, however, in his career. He has the quickness to play the position and the arm. In right field, for the sake of offense as much as anything, but a fine athlete, Lee Lacy. He, too, will have a sun problem as the day wears on in right field. Over at third base for the Los Angeles Dodgers, a man who's been there all season long, Ron Say, the cleanup hitter. At shortstop, a man whose bat has been begging so far, Bill Russell. And the fellow who has been zipped in the series so far, offensively, and a man the Dodgers must have on base, Davey Lopes, playing at second base. And over at first, the steady one, Steve Garvey, who's been hitting well and fielding very well. Back of the plate, Steve Yeager, who put on a show in batting practice today, hit about 6 of them in the seats and deep. And on the mound, the young man that we've talked about so much already, Doug Rao, left-hander, has a fine changeup. He was 14-8 on the season, got off to a great start, winning 11 out of 12, and then tailed off toward the end of the year as he developed some soreness in his pitching shoulder. But he must have control, and he must be able to get the change over the plate in order to be effective. He will. Now, the batting order, Mickey Rivers will lead off. A couple of doubles and a single last night, followed by Willie Randolph, Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson, cleanup, Lou Piniella, batting 5th, Chris Chambliss hitting 6th, Greg Nettles 7, Bucky Dent, the shortstop is 8, and the pitcher, Ron Guidry. The Yankee defense lines up with Sweet Lou Piniella in left field. 34 having a great season. Over in center, Mickey Rivers, great speed out there. What an asset it is. In right field, Reggie Jackson. Sun will bother him as the day goes on. Inside defense, steady Greg Nettles at third base. At shortstop, it'll be Bucky Dent, who's never stepped on a foul line in his life. Over at second base, Willie Randolph. And down at first base, it'll be Chris Chambliss, still starting. There's been a lot of talk that Cliff Johnson might get a call unless Chris's bat came alive, but he's still there. And back of the plate, the captain, Thurman Munson. And on the mound, Ron Guidry. Coming out of the shower, as Bill White said a while ago, weighs about 153 pounds, but he will bring the ball to the plate well in excess of 90 miles an hour.
The Dodgers had to get a lift from that Yankee top of the first. Rivers
And then the Yankees failing to do anything with it. There's the Dodger lineup.
Davy Lopes, Bill Russell, Reggie Smith, Ron Cey cleaning up, followed by Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker, Lee Lacy, Steve Yeager, and Doug Rao. The DH not being used. This year, it's used on an alternating basis in the World Series. This is the year for it not to be used. Davy Lopes, 0 for 13 in the World Series, in the series so far. Jackson takes ball 4, and so the Dodgers get the leadoff man on. I tell you this, if Ron Guidry has any nerves at all, he is trying to overcome them by being quick to the...
I think Tommy's going to be a more aggressive manager, Howard. I think he's going to try something.
There he goes. The throw. No. He's in there.
It looked like he didn't have a chance to get him when he started. He made that play very close to second base. Munson gets rid of the ball so fast, it's really incredible. He got in there.
Goal second, couldn't get home in the first inning. Russell swings and misses, and he's gone. So the man who struck out only 43 times all season long is whiffed by Guidry. Back to Torres, he was bringing it up there 94 miles an hour. Ron Guidry is throwing in that 92, 94 range as well. So
and he's going to come right at you with his hard stuff. Good curveball.
Out. Ron Cey to end the inning. In the series with 1 run batted in.
Doug keeps it low. That's where Jackson likes it.
Down the left field line, it'll go to the corner. Should be 2 bases. Dusty Baker over to the line. Jackson will go standing at second with a double.
See what I mean, Tom? This fella deserves a lot of credit. Billy started to use him regularly from mid-season or thereabouts.
Get the runner to third.
There it is, right down the right field line. Should score Jackson. Reggie pumping around third. The throw. Lacy goes to second. Jackson scores. Yankees lead 1-0. For today's ball game from the Naval Air Station in Memphis, Tennessee. That is going to the left field corner. Baker over and knocks it down. Lou Piniella goes to third, and Chambliss is in with a stand-up double, and the Yankees are jumping on Doug Rao in the top of the second. Piniella is at third. Chambliss is at second. Doug Rao through 14 pitches. Stop. Hits it right at Davy Lopes. He'll go to first. Piniella scores. The Yankees lead 2-0.
Batting 8. You have to be very fine in this situation.
Ball is hit on the ground to right field. That'll score another run, and the Yankees lead 3-0 as Chambliss spikes the plate. And then hit a low outside pitch to right field. And Knight got out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning against Tommy John. They have scored 3 runs in the second inning today. All 3 runs charged to Doug Rao. There's the bunt by Guidry. Good one out in front. Yeager to first base, and they get him. The sacrifice for the pitcher Guidry is dead, goes to second. So after 2 complete innings of play, Ron Guidry looks mighty tough. Batting bottom of the third. Lopes hits it to straightaway center, hits it well. Rivers going back.
Oh, he did it!
That's the power of this young man that we talked about last night. He broke out of his slump in a big way. But remember, Tom Seaver talked last night about how Davey hit a grand slammer against him in this ballpark. Dead center field and out, and the ball jumped. Again, this relates to the way it pops out of here in the daytime vis-a-vis the night.
First time up. An instance of the pitcher helping himself. Roden doubled. Goes tumbling out of it. Here he is. Looking. Smith strikes out. But the Dodgers strike back, get a double from Roden, a homer from Lopes, and it's now Yankees 3, Dodgers 2. Ron Cey, number 4 man in the order, hits it high, deep to left field, way back, and Piniella jumps, got it!
What a great catch.
Oh,
great
boy,
catch.
what a play.
I thought it was gone when he hit it. Lou Piniella made a fine catch at the wall.
Piniella will give you everything he's got and more.
Tomorrow, as the professional football games are posted, we'll keep you apprised as you watch the work reaching for the ball. That ball will come out of that crowd on you. Fouled, and it's fouled off Thurman Munson. Thurman's going to take a minute to shake off the impact of that one.
Watch this view.
But he fooled him. He really fooled him. That's a 3-2 situation with a fastball pitcher. Jackson up now has doubled to the left field corner.
Right.
1-1 the count. 2 out. Nobody on. Fly ball hit to left center. It's way back. It is gone into the left center field pavilion. Reggie Jackson.
And suddenly Rick Rhoden's scoreless streak ends. Reggie got the pitch just where he wanted it. Out and over the plate. And this is a ballpark tailor-made to Reggie Jackson.
Let's watch him go to the dugout.
Lou Piniella.
Struck out Piniella. Yankees get a home run on Reggie Jackson's shot into the left center field pavilion. And after 5.5 innings of play, the Yankees lead the Dodgers 4-2. Hit sharply Greg Nettles. And the inning is over. No, it is. Ron Guidry getting the Dodgers in order. And after 6, Yankees 4, Dodgers 2. Garvey swings and misses and strikes out.
I'll tell you, this Guidry, 94 miles an hour. A gritty little pitcher.
He is now hooting alone in the Dodger pen. Bill Russell.
Russell started the series.
Struck him out. So Ron Guidry dominating the game now. 1 inning to go. Yankees lead 4-2. The Dodgers down by 2 runs. Have 3 outs left. Back more after this message and a word from our local station.
There's Paul Blair now in right field. Billy Martin got that extra turn at bat out of Jackson. 2-run lead. There's Reggie exhorting his teammates on. Bottom of the 9th. Dodgers trail by
cleanup all year long. Ronnie had a great April in his first 17 ball games. And then went into a slump, but he kept them there. Shot. Fair ball. Into the corner. Say. Pumping. Going for 2. Piniella has it. Say goes in. Double. Now the tying run. Now that Nestor Shylock, who is one of the better ones around, was right on top of it. Can't see it there. Not going to change that decision.
There's no way. Nettles immediately points to the spot he claims the ball landed. Martin now back in the dugout as we look at Nettles.
Guidry and popped out to the first baseman. Garvey goes to the right side. Well back. It is in the right field corner. It is foul.
Oh, boy. Remember, the Dodgers came from behind to tie the Yankees in the opening game. They are, as we said, a combative ball club.
Representing the tying run. Plate. Over the pitcher to Randolph at second. A throw in time. 2 out. Say goes to third.
So they are down to 1 out. If they lose, trailing 3-1 in the World Series, they will have to look back to baseball history for hope of winning the World Series. In 1968, as Martin comes out to talk with Guidry and check the situation with his catcher, Thurman Munson. In 68, the St. Louis Cardinals led the Tigers 3-1. The Tigers won that World Series. In 1958, the then Milwaukee Braves led Casey Stengel's Yankees 3-1. The Yankees won that World Series. So twice in history, it has happened. He represents the tying run.
Wants the ball. Hit to center. Rivers. Yankees win it 4-2 as Ron Guidry goes all the way with a 4-hitter. Struck out 7, he walked 3.
No question about it. The smallish southpaw was the dominant figure today. So for the second straight day, Yankee pitching. Guidry today, Torres yesterday, has been supreme. The Yankees got hitting against young Doug Rauch in the second inning. They exploded for 3 runs as their left-handed hitters collaborated for a change. Jackson with a double and Chambliss with a double, each into the left field corner. Later, Reggie added a home run.
Big day for the Yankees, and the heat now really, really, really on the Dodgers at their home ballpark. As you can see, New York 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Los Angeles 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Doug Rauch started. The Yankees jumped on him for 3 runs. Rick Rhoden came in, was brilliant in relief, but Ron Guidry owned this day as he went all the way.
Well, you know, the biggest thing for me was, you know, when you get to spring training, our thoughts are always getting to a World Series. Right. So, you know, we had gone the year before. We had gotten steamrolled by the Cincinnati Reds. And but I was in the bullpen at the time, so I didn't have anything to do with that one. You can't blame that one on me. So, but for 77, you know, I got stuck in the starting rotation because of injuries to a couple of our pitchers, our friends Gullett and Catfish. So that's the reason why I was moved into the rotation. I had to make emergency starts. And the first 3 times that I had done it, I had gotten it into the 9th inning. So, you know, they were going like, wait a minute, none of our starters have gotten into the 9th, and we have a guy coming out of the pen and he's done it 3 times. So maybe we've been looking at this the wrong way. So after the 3rd start, they said, you're in the rotation. So I learned how to be a starter. And when I got to that game there that you're talking about, you know, that's your first World Series experience. And, you know, for me to win my first game in a World Series, that's like, that was your dream come true. Now you know you made the point where you tried to get to as a little kid. And I'm sure you had that feeling too. There's nothing like pitching in a World Series.
Absolutely. Now you beat us, the Dodgers, and you probably beat Rick Rhoden.
TJ, I honestly can't remember who I beat.
Because I think I pitched game 2. Game 1 was...
Well, the game in Los Angeles, I think Doug Rauch started the game.
Okay, Doug Rauch started.
Rauch started the game, but we got to him pretty early. I think Reggie maybe hit a home run off him or something. I don't remember exactly what, TJ, but I got my 4 runs early. And
here's your 4 Gator. Hold them.
That's it. That's almost exactly what it was like. Yeah. Okay. Everybody looks at you, go like, we did our job.
Okay. Here's a little question on a piece of advice to young pitchers.
Okay.
You won 5 Gold Gloves from 82 to 86. No other Yankee pitcher has ever won more. What advice would you give to young pitchers regarding fielding your position?
With a 20-2 record in the first.
Well, I always took pride in fielding my position because I'm the 9th guy on the field and everybody has a job. And I certainly wouldn't want to lose a 1-0 game because a ground ball went right by me and I just watched it go by. So, you know, you were there, TJ. We took a lot of ground balls. We worked on our PFPs, but every day after practice, I used to get one of the hitting coaches or something to come with me on the backfields, and we trained in Lauderdale. So the backfields we would go to, and I'd have them hit me 50 ground balls every day. and, you know, hit me so many on the left side, right side, up, and then hit me 10 and don't tell me where you're going to hit. Let me react to it. So I always use my speed as an asset. That's probably what made me a better fielder than a lot of guys. Not only can you feel the balls coming back, but you know you pitched. You know them balls come up the middle pretty damn fast. And
yes, they do. Well,
either you get out of the way or you catch them.
The thing that made you a good fielder and made me better than what I probably should have been is we always finished up square.
Right. Square.
And if you watch the guys now, they throw and that back leg comes over and they fall off to the side and the balls hit right back over the rubber.
Right.
They can't even get to it.
Well, you've watched the games on television. You watch the pitchers today. You and I and a lot of other pitchers, when we throw, all you see is our face, the hitters. When the hitters today, when they look, they see the numbers on the back of their jersey. You know, they're not ready to field. So, and I'm not sure they put a lot of emphasis on fielding it during practice. I was kind of amazed this year where we did not do that often.
Really?
Practice field, yeah. You know, I don't know if that's something that's like, okay, we don't need to do that anymore. Okay, well, if you think you're good enough, but yet I've seen replays of games and I've watched 20 hop ground balls go right up the middle with no glove, you know. But that's how the game's changed so much, and you know it has.
Big time, changed big time. I don't even recognize the game that these guys play now.
No, that's true. But, you know, I would just tell kids, if you want to be a good fielder, you got to practice at it. Okay, you got to work hard at it. Do some extra ground ball work, you know, just to prepare yourself. And like you said, square up, get ready to field the ball. Every time you throw a pitch, think that the ball might be coming up.
Come to me, ball.
Okay, 1978, you struck out 18 hitters.
Good crowd here at the stadium tonight, and they're going to be behind Guidry on every pitch that he throws. All right, he's going to swing away now and strikes out. He foul tipped it in Munsted's mitt. So Guidry picks up his first strikeout of this ball game. Listen to the crowd now. On every two-strike count, you'll hear him. The 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Strike three is called, and Guidry gets out of the jam. The Red Sox at the moment are 7.5 games ahead of the Yankees. 2-2 pitch will be coming, and he struck him out. Third strikeout for Guidry. 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Strike three swinging. Fourth strikeout for Guidry. And the 2-2 pitch again. Struck him out. Swing and a miss. That's 5 for Guidry. 3 in a row. Struck him out. That is 6 for Guidry.
2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Got it. 7th strikeout for Guidry, and there's one away. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. 8th strikeout for Guidry, and there are 2 outs. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Redmond. Swung on and missed. Guidry has struck out the side. That's his 9th strikeout. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him with a high fastball. 1 away. Strikeout number 10 for Ron Guidry.
And Bill, some fans here tonight have a sign, Louisiana Lightning. Ron will run them out of town.
A double by Gritch in the first, singles by Miller and Chalk in the third. 1-2, call strike 3. Caught him looking. And Bobby Gritch is called out for out number 2. Breaking ball is swung on and missed. Guidry has now struck out every angel in the batting order. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. Rudy goes down swinging. Payoff pitch to Baylor. Swung on and missed. Got him with a breaking ball. Guidry strikes out the side for the 3rd time in the ball game. Strikeout number 14.
Guidry winds. And the pitch. Struck him out. Holy cow, number 15. listen to the roar. The kick, the pitch, strike three! Holy cow, that's number 16 for Guidry. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The kick, the pitch, he got him! Number 17, holy cow! And the noise builds up. Is unbelievable. Ground ball to third. Nettles, great play. Throw to second. Ball game's over. Ron Guidry being greeted by his teammates, although it was the final game of the World Series. What an exhibition by the Louisiana Lightning man. And the crowd on their feet. The final score, Yankees 4, Angels nothing. The crowd kept applauding for Guidry to come out. Guidry did and got another standing ovation. The totals in the ball game for the Yankees, 4 runs, 11 hits, no errors. For the Angels, no runs, 4 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher, Ron Guidry, is 11-0. He now has 21 consecutive scoreless innings.
How much effect was the crowd to
I didn't know about the strikeouts at all. I was worried about the game itself. You know, you have to understand at the time that it happened in June, we were probably 10, 11 games out of first. We were still way behind Boston. And every time that I'd go out to pitch, I know I'm pitching well. I got, you know, I have a winning streak. I don't want to lose any games, but I couldn't afford to lose a game more so for the team. If I lost a game in that time and we lost 3 or 4 more games, it could steamroll into an 8, 9, 10, 11 game losing streak. So for me, every time I started, you know, my start was important. So I was concentrating more on winning my game that I'm pitching. And I don't recall who I was pitching against that night, but the team staked me to a 3 or 4 run lead quick. So I was more focused on not giving up any runs every time I went out. And then all of a sudden, as you're striking out guys, you know, the crowd got up on every 2 strike count that I had on guys. And you hear them and, you know, it certainly builds you up, you know, but I guess I thought more about, this has got to affect the hitter more than it affects me. So I really didn't try to strike out any guys, like I said, until when I came in after the 7th. You've done it before. Every inning you come in, you sit down next to your catcher, you go over the hitters coming up next inning. At least give me an idea of what you're going to call so you don't call something that I might not throw. And you know how Thurman was. He was funny to pitch. You know, he was good to pitch to. He's great. But he was funny doing it because he always had headaches when he was pitching. So he called a changeup one time when I was pitching in bases loaded situation. And I almost balked because I had to tell myself, step off, call timeout, and get him out. But anyway, when we sat down after the top of the 7th, they posted on the board I had tied Ford's record at 15. So that's the only time that we knew what we had. And I was amazed that he didn't know that already, because you know he's an astute student of the game. So he told me the first thing was, you know, he said the major league record is 19. So he said, we're going to go for it. And I told him, I said, listen, dude, I said, you have to call this game because we need to win this game. And that game's more important than me setting records. Okay. So, and you know Thurman, and this is what he responded to me. He told me face to face, he said, okay, he said, I'll give you the 8th inning. He said, but if you're close in the 9th inning, he said, you're going to go for that record, or so help me, I'll break your left shoulder. And, you know, to this day, you're going like, you know, I think he was serious. But
you better believe he was.
But when I went out in the top of the 9th, TJ, it's the only guys, and it's the only time that I went out with the thought that I'm going to try to strike you out. I didn't before. And I got the first 2 guys. I think Baylor got a base hit. The next guy ground out, you know, history. But, you know, those nights only come once in a while, or else everybody would do it all the time. So every time I threw a pitch right down the middle, they'd take. Every time I threw one in the dirt, they'd swing. You know, if I threw it high, they'd swing. If I throw it low, they'd take. It was a strike. You know, it's one of those nights where everything just falls into place.
That's when you should have, after the game, started looking for handbags. Okay, we're going to the 81 World Series.
Okay.
Did you look forward to swinging the bat?
No way. No, because I knew I was already probably going to have to face a left-hander. You know, TJ, you know, they'd let you hit and bunt like 2 weeks before the series. Okay, y'all grab a bat and go do 10 bunts and 5 swings. What are you going to learn in 5 swings? No, I wasn't looking forward to swinging. No.
How did you like being the pitching coach in 2006 and 7?
I liked it. I liked it because I did it for Joe Torre. You know, I had been going to spring training ever since I retired. So I got to be real close to Mel Stottlemyre. And when Mel was diagnosed with you know, his problem, Joe had always said, if Mel ever retires, would you consider taking this job? And, you know, you go like, well, I'm not so sure I want to do this all, you know, for 8 months out of the year again.
Sure.
But then at the same time, you're telling yourself, you know, you could have a great opportunity to do it here in New York where you play. And, you know, Joe's got 2 more years. You don't know what's going to happen, but for at least you would satisfy your curiosity about what it would be like. So that way, if you're home one day, you never had to, you know, I should have done it, you know. So I did it. It was fun. But I got to tell you, when Joe left and he took the Dodger job, he called. And the first thing, when I answered the phone, he said, Gator, it's Skip. And I said, Skip, I'm glad you called, but I can't wear Dodger blue. And he just laughed. He laughed and he said, I thought you'd say that. But he said, I just wanted to call anyway. But it was fun, TJ. But I had the opportunity. I took it. I don't know if I'd have done that like for years and years.
Who was on your staff then?
Let's see. We had Randy Johnson. We had Mike Mussina, Chin Min Wong. Let's see who else. Pettit. Of course, Mo was in the pen.
That's all you needed.
Well, yeah, that's all you needed, really, basically. But we had other guys, you know, in the pen, and we had other guys in the starting. I mean, I'm trying to remember the starting rotation, but it was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty, and it was fun. They were great to coach. They all, of course, they're all different. You know that. All us pitchers, we're all different. We all have different characters, different work ethics. So it was fun. It was fun.
The best pitching coaches I ever had didn't coach me, but they made me feel comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
And if I was comfortable, I could pitch well.
Right.
It's when you're on that edge that, you know, like I had one time, Johnny Saint was going to teach me his little short curve slider. I didn't pitch like that. And I finally got to the point I had to call. Now, I was with the White Sox then. I called our old pitching coach, Ray Barras, and I said, Ray, I'm terrible. He said, take that curveball and stick it up here. And I said, you think so? And he said, yeah, you throw it, but not all the time.
Right.
I said, okay. So when I did it, all of a sudden, I started to win and our pitch better. And everybody said, oh, what did Johnny Sain tell you? I said, didn't tell me anything. Well, what did he do? I said, he just stayed out of my way.
Right. I'll give you a good one because you and I both pitch for him was Art Fowler. You remember what Art used to tell us? If you can't throw the ball in the strike zone, you can't pitch in the big leagues. Now, it doesn't sound like a whole hell of a lot, but when you think about it, yeah. If you throw your pitches in the strike zone, you get guys out. They don't swing at balls. They swing at strikes. I mean, you know, and like I said, the good ones, they give you information that you need. They don't over preach about, you know, what you need to do to pitch. They just give you the information that you need. Like you said, makes you comfortable. You pitch in your zone and you pitch to the ability that God gave you. And that's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Exactly.
That's all you can do.
Yep.
Yes.
But anyway, buddy, I appreciate it. And thanks for coming on. Do you have any questions or anything that you'd like to say? Are you going to join are you going to join the Saudi golf tour?
I don't think so. First of all, you can't get the clubs, okay? It's hard to get left-handed clubs. No, but TJ, it's certainly great to see you. You've always been a good friend. We always look forward to seeing you.
And I'll tell you what I'll do. This is from me to you. Next spring, I'll come to Tampa and come see you.
Hey, you don't have to come. You don't have to come to the ballpark, but just come see me, and you and I go out and have a good steak.
One question, Braxton.
Do you think Tommy John should be in the Hall of Fame?
I sure do.
Me too.
They shouldn't have a Hall of Fame if you can't have a Tommy John in there.
You know, it's funny, Gator, last year when Jim Cott got elected, the next morning I get a phone call and it was from Jim Cott. He said, TJ, it's Kitty. And I said, Kitty, what's congratulations, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I just want to apologize. And I said, apologize for what? And he said, for me getting in the Hall of Fame before you.
Oh. I don't know.
But that was Kitty.
Yeah, well, but you know, it's like I say, you know, I can't see where guys like you and him and other guys who take so long, you know, I don't know what the criteria is. You know, there are guys that win 200 games and they're in, and you got almost 300, you know.
That's right.
Because it's certainly, and you know, and you look, everybody remembers the job you did anyway. You know,
the guys that played with me, played against me, know how good I was and how good I wasn't. Yeah.
Well, you don't need the Hall of Fame to remind you how good you were.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. You got it. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Okay, buddy.
One last question.
Shoot.
How are the Yankees now without the boss?
Well, it's different because you know, it's not, you know how he was always in the clubhouse, right?
Right.
I mean, you remember. I mean, I own the team. I go where I want, okay? And I want to go in the clubhouse. Okay, fine.
95, that all season, the Yankees are playing Seattle in the playoffs. And this friend of mine, Ray Negron, who started working with the Yankees, said that Mr. Steinbrenner want to meet with you when the season's over. I said, okay, cool. And then my suspension was lifted, I think, in October. So I was actually rooting for the Yankee pitchers to do bad, all but David Cone, because he was a personal friend of mine. So it would help my chances on joining the Yankees. Because at that time, the Mets had said they want to cut ties and go a different way, which was okay, but I was kind of sad about that because I wanted to right my ship with the fans and the organization. So when the season was over, the Yankees got knocked out of the playoffs. I meet with Mr. Steinbrenner at a restaurant in Tampa. And I remember Ray saying, you know, you got to dress nice, you got to have a suit on, you got to wear a tie. So I got a tie, I got a suit, We go in, Steinbrenner's there, he has a sweatsuit on. So we talk.
George Steinbrenner had a sweatsuit on.
Had a sweatsuit on. So we're sitting there eating, upscale restaurant as well. We eat, talk for about 3 hours. Baseball never come up. He never talks about baseball. He just talks about what you've been doing with yourself for this year, what you've been doing with your kids, what you've been doing to better yourself. That's all he wanted to know, what I've been doing. So on the ride home, I was telling Ray, I think he just wanted to meet. I don't think he wants to do anything. Signed me as a Yankee. So the next day he called and we worked out the deal. Start off that year 0-3 with the Yankees. And I remember I'm walking out of the stadium with my first wife and here's Mr. Steinbrenner walking towards us. And so I say to her, here's George, I'll introduce you to him. So she said, okay, cool. She was kind of excited. As they got close, I said, hey, boss, how you doing? I'd like for you to meet my wife. And he said, when you going to win the Elfin game? And just kept walking. So that was, I said, that was George. But later on, he apologized and signed on roses and stuff like that. I mean, that's the type of guy he was. I mean, great guy. Now.
Great guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I mean, he gave me an opportunity because that's just who he was. And the thing about George, he was a fan. He wanted to win. But at the end of the day, you know, he was in your corner. I mean, he gave me a job with the Yankees after that. He was very supportive of my dad when he got sick.
What is it about this Mr. Steinbrenner? All the respect and props he gets, and, you know, Seinfeld, he earned millions kind of giving him a little
he's an
kick.
Incredible man. And I'm very fortunate to spend the time I spent with him. And once I retired, that's when I really got to know him. I worked for the Yankees for 6 years down in Tampa. I've been around him every day. And just watching the stuff he does for the community and people he don't even know. A lot of people that has jobs down in Tampa, he met them like at IHOP or different places and he gave them jobs. I remember
he really was that guy.
He was that guy and he didn't want nobody to know. The stuff he would do to help people, he said, hey, I don't want anybody to know. And he always just tell me, he goes, Doc, if you do something for someone and more than 2 or 3 people knows, then it's not coming from your heart. And that stuck with me. And one of the things that always stuck with me was when my dad was sick before he passed away, Mr. Steinbrenner was coming from New York. He had a meeting set up in Tampa at the minor league complex. When he got to the complex, the gentleman, Ray Negron, was there, and he asked Ray, how's Doc's dad? And Ray said, he's not doing too well. He said, how's Doc? He said, well, he's at the hospital now. Mr. Steinbrenner didn't even go into the meeting. He told Ray to go tell those guys I'll be there in a little bit. And he came to the hospital, saw me and my dad, and spent about an hour there. And that thing, stuff like that, just, you don't forget. And he didn't have to do that, but that's just the guy he was.
So that blows over that whole, when are you going to win me a...
Oh, when you game? Oh, definitely, definitely, yes, definitely.
There's nobody there that scares anybody anymore. You know, well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Hal Steinbrenner done.
Well, George was good at motivating through the papers. You remember, if he told you you were bad, then you wanted to make him a liar. So you did well, and he got what he wanted. So he was a great motivator, and he used the papers, you know, to motivate you. So now you don't have that. Now guys just kind of go about their business, and everybody walks around, you know, like, okay, fine, I'm here. But you know, there's, you know, we couldn't wait to get to the ballpark to find out what happened after the games because we didn't pick up the paper yet. So, you know, because it was always something with them, you know, with him, Billy or Reggie or, you know, somebody else on the club, you know, but there's none of that today. You know, this is what I can tell you. You remember how fun it was to get on a bus trip after the game when everybody got on each other and, okay. Well, if you walked on a bus today and you got at the front of the bus and you dropped a pin, a needle, a sewing needle, I would hear it if I was sitting on the last seat in the bus. That's how quiet it is.
Yeah, it's changed. There's no question about that.
It's changed.
Hey, anyway, I appreciate you coming on.
Same here, buddy.
Telling me your stories.
Same here. You take care.
Thank
And
you,
I'll see you somewhere down the line. And if I don't before that, you come meet me in Tampa.
I will meet you in Tampa. We'll go out to get a good steak.
We'll go to Charlie's.
Okay, that's fine. Charlie's is good. Got you, buddy.
Okay,
Thank you.
buddy.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Straight